Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's 9:02 p.m. on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Current temperature is 60 degrees. So, let's see. I recorded one of these last week. I'm not sure if I'll upload that one or not. I'll have to listen back to it. Um, but that was the last cool front that we had, and then now another one is coming through. Tomorrow night's gonna be even cooler, so I might do a follow up to this one tomorrow night. We'll see. But yeah, how you doing? How you holding up? We're all in this together, Let's this journey. We each have different ways of expressing ourselves, but we all really want the same thing. But yeah, so let's see, what have I been up to? Well, I guess I should start with work. Seems like that's what I usually start with. Um, I mean, work's great, man. I just get in my head. that's really that's really the only thing, and really, only people that do what I do can really relate. Because if you've never had a door-to-door job, it's really unlike anything else. There's nothing I can compare it to, honestly. So, yeah, I mean, every day is going to be different. So, I mean, overall, yeah, it's great. It's a really unique opportunity. I'm very grateful to have it. And I feel like as long as I remember that at all times, I'll be fine. But really, all it is, man, is just not taking it too seriously. You just got to make it into a game, you know. It's like whenever I take it seriously is when it's a problem. Because I feel like any kind of door-to-door job is gonna make you confront your demons, and then that's what really puts you to the test as a character. And then only if you can push past that do you really get to the other side. Gotta hear that plane. That is super loud. But yeah, so really, what I've become aware of is just my need for acceptance from others, and my desire to be seen, to be heard, and just my pride, and like making sure people know that I'm right, and just all that stuff. And I've over the course of doing this, I realized none of that stuff really matters. That's all a distraction. That's all on the surface level. So once you realize that and you focus on what's actually important, then you'll have more depth to your character, and you can let some of the deeper parts through. Like at this point, honestly, 100% honestly, I do not care what people think about me, and I say that with genuine sincerity. I don't care, man. I don't care what my coworkers think of me, what my teammates think of me, what my boss thinks of me, what the people I deal with think of me, like, because my actions speak for themselves. And I was top in the office last month. I had 18 demos. Second place was 9. So I don't need to say anything. It's like, whether or not I'm replicatable is up for debate. But I do know that I inspire people, and I do know that the room lights up when I walk up to the front. So I know what I am. I know what I'm capable of. I mean, I never fully grasped the power, the magnitude of what I'm capable of, but I know that I'm tapped into something. I just have to learn how to really hone it in. But yeah, I'm really on my own journey, and I feel like whatever I attract into my life is for a reason, and I feel like I can learn something from everyone around me. So that's how I go about things. I try to extract little nuggets of information from every conversation, from every interaction that I have with people. Figure out, how will this help me? And yeah, there's been a lot of hard lessons, of course, a lot of unpleasant truths, but I'm grateful for all of it. And yeah, so my need for acceptance, I mean, of course, I'm still young, I still have an ego. So, and that's part of the human experience, so it's not something I think we should be trying to get rid of. But it's more just being aware of it and not letting it get out of control, as I feel it has in the past. And I really, like, honestly, I was a slave to my ego for a long time. And as a kid and everything, I was just super self-conscious and lived in paranoia, essentially. It's like, dude, these people don't give a fuck, man. They got their own shit going on. So it's like, once I really became aware of that, things got better. But the thing is, though, from my experience, like in my experience, there have been some people that genuinely did judge me, or like there were some times where I was justified to feel like there are eyes on me, or like I was being micromanaged or something, like there were instances of that, and then that just completely, like, that's all the proof that I needed, so that I just applied that to everything. And even still to this day, like, even with door to door, I mean, it's a weird job, man. It's a whole other world. So, like today, for example, I didn't get any warm transfers. And first of all, I'm upset about that, because I always get at least one. Always. And it's been probably months since I got zero. But, it's just this neighborhood that I was in, man. I mean, we got the cops called 3 times. I had a trainee with me. It's his first day, so that's his first impression of the job. And the people just had nothing better to do but just watch us and stare at us like we're zoo animals, and this one guy came up to us while we were talking to a different homeowner, and he literally drove up in his car, and he got out of the car and approached us and said, "Hey, you knocked on my door earlier, you were staring in my windows." I'm like, first of all, I wasn't, because I never do that. And like, also, like, it really freaked me out that he would go, I don't even know which house he lived in, and I never saw his car again after that. So it's like, another guy accused us of trying to unlock his door, because we just knocked on the door, and he said we were jiggling the handle, and I did not at all, so it's like, it's kind of instances like that can really set the tone for me. And even though those areas or those days or whatever are 1% or less than that, they're very rare, it still, like, is the loudest thing in my mind. So then whenever I'm in a similar situation, my mind immediately goes to that, even though, like, there's a very slim chance that it's anything like that. So when I see somebody like outside, I assume, oh, they're watching me. They're probably reporting to the neighborhood. They probably have a group chat and they're all talking about me or whatever. And it's like, nah, man, he's just watering his plants. you know, like, that's all there is to it. So it's just that kind of stuff. But now I feel like I'm on an advanced enough level to be aware of that perception, so that way I don't allow that to come to the top of my mind, or if it does, to immediately, remove it. So I'm not as, disturbed by today's results as I would be in the past. I mean, obviously it upsets me to not get any warm transfers, but it is what it is. Just really being mad about it isn't going to make a difference. I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. I'm still leading the office even this month. And I'm about to get promoted, and I earned it, and I got to where I am by hard work. And no one can deny that. No one can tell me that I'm not qualified. As I checked all the boxes, I did everything everybody told me to. So, one day isn't going to change any of that. But, and I just have a plan. Like, I've been stubborn in the past, and I would say, oh, well, I'm going to stick it out in that neighborhood, and I know there's houses in there, but it's like, fuck it, man. There's so many neighborhoods, there's so many houses, like, I'll just move down the road, Because, like, literally the neighborhood right next to it where I was in last week, everybody was super chill. There's no problems. So, it's like, alright, it's just that weird little community. So, it's just not worth it, man. So I stuck it out for today, because I never want to move neighborhoods in the middle of the day, like wherever I decide to go. And I planned on being there all week, but I'm just not going to do that. After today, after what I saw, it's not even like it's one house or two. It's like I knocked over 200 doors today, and I couldn't get a single warm transfer. So, and everybody had that same look in their eye, they had that same tone in their voice. So it's like, all right, this is some groupthink shit, this is everybody's all on one thing. So I'm not about that. I'm more of a fan of independent thinking. But yeah. So I'm pacing for the gala, which I think I talked about. If not, you can probably put together what a gala is. It's a company gala. It's in March. It's in New Jersey. And you need 50 demos in Q4 to qualify. So I got 16 in October. I got 18 in November. That's 34. I'm at 4 so far in December. That's 38. So I need 12 more. I already have one on the calendar for tomorrow, which I feel very strongly about. And then I have another reschedule I feel very strongly about. So with those two, that would be 40. So really, I just need 10 more demos for the whole month. So I got that. And then January 1st, I'm getting promoted to direct sales. And that's another thing too, because I've been thinking about that a lot. Now that it's actually happening, like obviously the idea of going to sales has always been exciting. And it's like, oh yeah. And they tell me, oh, do this. Like just being blunt, I was being strung along for a long time. And so once I finally got a definite, no matter what date of January 1st, which when I got it, it was in September. So that was a long time. So I wasn't very happy about it at the time. But now that it's actually coming up and they're still announcing that in front of the room and it's an actual thing that's going to happen, like, it gets real for me. I'm like, oh shit, I got to evaluate everything in my life, because this is a big deal. It's going to change my whole lifestyle, because I found every job that I had, my lifestyle would change to fit it. It all started when I went to college. Every semester, depending on my classes and the schedule and all that stuff, my whole weekly routine would revolve around that. And then when I got a job, then it would go around my work schedule. And when I moved to Orlando, I was working at Universal, went around that schedule. And then when I was pedicabbing, it went around that. And then when I took this job, it went around that. So it's going to be the same company still, but it's a totally different position, totally different style. So this is the first lifestyle change that I'll be going through in almost 2 years now. So, because I've gotten, I don't want to say complacent, but I have a tendency to, once I find something that works, I just stick with it and I just keep doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I've had the same, the same lifestyle ever since I started outreach. And now I'm gonna restart everything from scratch. And I'm going into it, I don't want to say blind, because I do know, what to expect. I'm in contact with the people over there. I know most of them. I know what the position entails and, how it works. But I don't know what my lifestyle is going to look like. I don't know what my daily schedule or what my week's going to look like, or how I'm going to spend my time off, or any of that. So I've spent a lot of time over the past few weeks really evaluating all of that. Which things from my life do I want to keep? Which ones do I want to get rid of? What things do I want to start? And of course, it's all thematically appropriate that it's going into the new year as well. So I'm trying to make a list. Of things that I want to start, things I want to stop, things I want to continue. And then my predictions for what I think is going to change, what is going to stay the same. So just to share some of that with you, I'm just in a kind of a rough draft portion of that. I haven't really figured it out. But things I want to stop, Kratom. Yeah, I want to stop Kratom. I bought what I announced as my last bag, powder of Kratom, and my last bottle of the capsules. So for most of my time in outreach, I have used Kratom to feel better in field. And I equated it with enhanced performance, when really all it is just enhanced mood. So obviously if you feel better, you're going to perform better. But it doesn't make me better at the job when I'm under the influence of Kratom. It just makes me feel a little better. So what I got to do then is find a way to just feel better so that I don't need to take it. And I thought, I kind of knew, that it had a very subtle effect, but the reason I kept doing it is because I didn't think that there were any consequences. I didn't think there were any side effects. And so, of course, naturally, I got carried away with it, and I would start using Kratom on my days off. Even at home, I would make myself Kratom drinks and things like that. And there was a period of maybe 2 weeks where I used Kratom 2 to 3 times a day, every single day. And so I was basically always under the influence of it. And, it's not like a hard drug or anything, but it's just not good, because, first of all, it makes me tired when it wears off. So always 2 to 3 hours after I take it, I just get uncontrollably tired. My eyes start closing. And, I'm not able to fall asleep. It's not that kind of tired. I just, don't want to do anything. My eyes start closing. It gets harder to think, and that's not very good if I, have stuff to do. Or really just ever. It's not convenient. I'm not that type of person that just likes to zone out, I like to be conscious and with it. So that's another reason I haven't got into hard drugs, is just because I don't like being out of control of myself. I mean, psychedelics is one thing. I feel like that's an exception to all of that because I use them for educational purposes. I would never use psychedelics as a party drug. I actually did try it once, I'll confess. At a music festival, I took mushrooms one time, and I ended up just going home because I just didn't want to be in public. And then there was another time I took mushrooms and went to an amusement park, and that was actually all right. That wasn't bad. I probably would have rather been at home, but I didn't like freak out or anything. Oh, and there was one other time I was on mushrooms. I went out to dinner. I met people for dinner. I didn't know that they called me like right after I took the mushrooms and they hadn't kicked in yet. And they were like, "Hey, we're passing through Orlando. Let's meet up for dinner." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then the mushrooms kicked in, and then they texted me like, "All right, we're 10 minutes away." So I ended up actually walking to, because it was within walking distance. We went to a restaurant that was right next to where I live. So I walked over there, and felt like I was a cartoon character, and it's pretty trippy. But I remember, I mean, everybody knew something was up, because like with mushrooms, that's one thing where like you can't hide it. Like you can act sober if you're high on weed or something like that, but with mushrooms it's like like everybody knows. So I remember the reason that was even on my mind, that was like a year ago. The reason that's even on my mind is the people that I met for dinner were my mom and my brother. And so I was in visiting my mom for Thanksgiving, and somehow it came up in conversation. She was like, "Yeah, I remember, we met at that one restaurant in Orlando." She's like, "I mean, you were really, really high, though." I was like, "Oh, could you tell?" She's like, "Yeah, that wasn't weed. What was that?" I was like, "Yeah, it was mushrooms." She's like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, those are all the times that I've been in public on psychedelics. But anyway, as a side tangent. So kratom, I want to give up kratom because I feel like at this point the side effects outweigh the benefits. It doesn't really do much for me anymore. I feel like I've built up such a tolerance to it that I just need an absurd amount in order to do the same thing that I used to get with 3 capsules. Now I need to take 20. So I found myself taking 20, 25, 30 capsules in one day. And I was like, this isn't good, man. It's not good. It's just excessive. So, because a few of the side effects besides being tired, it makes me dehydrated. That's one thing I found. It's like it just makes my mouth super dry, and it makes me thirsty, and then when I drink something, like I just have to pee, so it's not like, it makes me thirsty, and then when I drink it like doesn't hydrate me. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like it dries out my mouth, it like messes up my voice, like even now, because I had kratom today. I took 6 capsules when I got to field, 6 on my break, 6 so I took 18 capsules today. And it's like, I even feel it like when I talk, like there's something up with my mouth. And I just don't like it, because I still didn't get any warm transfer, so it was all pointless. And I feel like I can accomplish the same thing without it. I really feel like at this point it's just a placebo, because I don't really feel much from it, and I do the same thing that I do without it anyway, so it's really pointless to keep taking it. And ironically, the number one thing that made me realize that I have to stop is that I was getting withdrawal. So this weekend, for example, because I said I've been taking it on my days off in the past few weeks, so this weekend I didn't have any. And I woke up on Monday, and I was just in withdrawal from it. I really wanted kratom, and I was like, dude, why did you want it so bad? that was cause for concern. So I was like, all right, that's it. I gotta quit this shit. So, yeah. So that's really the only reason that I even took it today, is just because I was feeling withdrawal, and I was like, well, I can't be knocking doors feeling like this. So rather than going cold turkey, I think the thing to do is just wean off it slowly. Just take like one less capsule every day. So that's what I'm doing for the month of December, so that going into January, I'll be off it altogether. Because, yeah, I feel like the whole reason I even got into it in the first place is just to help me do cold calls, to help me to not internalize the initial resistance and the negative energy. It just to combat the anxiety. This is to combat anxiety from doing cold calls, but once I get to direct sales, it's going to be so much different, because I'll be the one running the appointments. I'll be the one like in the in-home process, and it's just like, it's a lot smoother. And also I found I don't need Kratom to be successful at Home Depot. So I'm pretty sure I talked about this before, but we have a partnership with Home Depot now, 2 stores, and we have a booth there, and we try to get warm transfers from the Home Depot. So I actually just saw success for that, because I wasn't getting anything for a long time in the Home Depot, because I was trying to figure out different approaches, and I finally found one that works. I got 3 warm transfers in the Home Depot this last Saturday, and what it is just set up right by the entrance and greet people as soon as they walk in. So literally, as soon as people walk into the Home Depot, there's me, and I say, hey, how you doing today? Would you be interested in solar at no cost? And I point to the sign that we have. And, of course, 99% of people are going to be like, nah, thanks, no, whatever. But it's a numbers game. Enough people walk by, somebody's going to be like, yeah, how does that work? Like, oh, I heard about that. Can you tell? Like, somebody's going to ask you something. If they ask you a question, I'm booking the appointment. I just turned that into reason. That's a great question. Tell you what, type in your address here. Let's see if you qualify. All right, I'm going to send my Solar Pro by. It's going to get you some custom info. And, yeah. So because I'm not knocking doors in the Home Depot, there's really no resistance. There's not a lot of hostility, and especially with that approach, because if I'm talking to people in the aisles and stuff, that's a little more weird. Like, I feel weird approaching them, but they're walking into the store, they pass by me, I try to reel them in. Like, that's fine. I feel like a carny. You know what I mean? Like, eventually someone's gonna play your game. So I don't need Kratom for that. So I feel like direct sales is gonna be a lot closer to that. Yeah, I'm just kind of over doing cold calls, knocking doors. Like, it was I'm grateful for it. It was definitely important to my development and the things I had to learn. But I feel like I've learned what I needed to from that, and I'm ready, to change it up. And now it's finally time to. So I'm grateful for that. I know everything happens for a reason, and I'm so happy that it's time. It's time for the next level. Like, I graduated off of this. I completed this level of the game. I won the boss battle after many attempts. And I really, like, it's very touching to me. And I'm very grateful for it. And I'm grateful for all the lessons I've learned along the way. This job really did make me a better person, and it really did open my eyes to a lot of things. So I really can't stress that enough. I feel like anyone that's actually good at door-to-door and makes it a long time, every one of them that I've encountered has said the same thing. Of course, they each have their own journey, so they have a different version of it, but they all say that it's really helped them. It's of spiritual significance in some sense, or personal development. I don't know, it's a really weird thing, man. It's hard to describe. You don't get that being a cashier at Wendy's, you know? I've come a long way. Yeah, and sometimes I wish people from my past could see me now, you know, but I know that's just my ego talking. I don't want to see people from my past. um, but yeah, so I'm glad that I'm headed to the next step. And right now, you know, it's my last month in outreach, it's my last month as a team lead. So I'm really just trying to help the reps on my team, just give them everything I got, you know. I give them all my wisdom, all my advice, all of my encouragement. And today even, I know I moved one of my reps, like we were doing a video call and he was the only one that answered. And I'm pretty sure I saw him crying a little bit, like after what I said, because I gave him a heartfelt message that I truly do believe, because I see a lot of potential in him, and I see a lot of good. He has a very good heart, and I told him, you know, and I don't usually open up like that, especially during work hours. But it just felt right. You know, the situation just seemed to call for it because he was having a rough day too. And, you know, I just felt like I was connecting with him in that moment. So, and, you know, he hides his emotions for the most part. So I don't think he would let it show if he was crying, but it just kind of looked by his face like that he was. But the tone of his voice immediately changed, and he was just like, wow, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And that's what makes it worth it for me. That's what I do it for. I don't care about the $500 bonus. I didn't even get that last month because the office did terrible. But I just do it because I know I'm having a real impact in people, and helping them be better at the job is helping them be better in life, helping them battle whatever demons are in their way. And a lot of them aren't aware of that, and that's why they're struggling. It's because they're like, wait a minute, it feels like there's something more than just knocking the doors and saying the pitch. It's like, yeah, there is more to it. And the reps get overwhelmed, they get uncomfortable. And it's like, it's all right. It's normal. We all feel that. That's what I try to convey to them, but I can only do that in a one-on-one setting. I can't really say that in a group. But I just tell them in their own way. It's okay. I know exactly what you're feeling. I know you don't think that's possible, but trust me, I know exactly what you're going through. And it's necessary, and it's gonna hurt. And you're gonna go through a lot of unpleasantness, but the quickest way out is through. Don't try to go around it. Don't try to fight it. Just go right through it. Because I promise you, what's on the other side is a lot better. I'm living proof of it. So, don't give up. You only fail when you give up. Don't give up on yourself. Even, I feel like another important thing for me too, even this past week I talked to a very close friend that was contemplating suicide, and it had a very bleak outlook on their situation and the world and just life in general, and they told me that they didn't really see a reason to continue living, and that life had become so painful for them that they'd rather just feel nothing. And there was a moment where I really didn't know what to say, because I've never been the kind of person to just say things for the sake of it. You know, like, I'm not gonna give them some PSA about, don't commit suicide. Life is great, the world is great. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat things because I feel like that's disrespectful to them. as someone like that you have a genuine relationship with. So I didn't want to say anything like fake. You know, I didn't want to say anything like that I couldn't back up 100%. But of course, I also didn't want to say anything to reinforce that. So it was just silence for a little while. And eventually I was just like, well, I'm not gonna make you stay, because that's not right for me to do. You know, like, if that's what you feel, you know, I'll forgive you. I'm not upset, but I'm just saying, I know it's really, you can't see the forest through the trees, you know, and you're in the moment, it's very real, and it just consumes everything, and you think that nothing exists outside of that. But I'm telling you, it's temporary. You've been happy before, you will be happy again. Everything in life is just cycles. So just stick it out. And, you know, just reflect. Just analyze it. Why are you thinking these thoughts? Where do they come from? What do they mean? And the more you know about them, the less scary it is. Because the majority of fear comes from fear of the unknown. So the reason that we're afraid of certain things fundamentally is just because we don't understand them. So if your mind becomes a dangerous place, that just means you need to get in better touch with yourself. You need to understand the way your subconscious mind operates. And for most people, that's just too much to do, and they'd rather just take the easy way out. But it's so much more rewarding to figure all that out, to crack the code. You know, it's a great feeling. But long story short, he didn't do it. He's still here, and he actually called me yesterday to thank me for talking him through it. But yeah, that just goes to show. I mean, I feel like that also adds value to me as a person as well, by being able to help people, influence people, try to influence them for the better. But, you know, I also feel it's a lot of responsibility, and I might not be ready for all that. Because there's also a lot of times that I don't feel like being a leader, you know? I just want to do my own thing. And I just think about the other reps, and I'm just like, yeah, they'll figure it out. They know what to do. I already told them. You know, like, they'll call me if they need anything. You know, and then it's even been a few times where they do call me, and I'm like annoyed by it. You know, I'm like, yeah, what do you want? I'm trying to get on the board. I'm trying to do my thing. And you know, I'll get like frustrated, like that. It's like, no, I already told you. That's not how it works. It's it, you know. Yeah, but that's not what leadership is all about. It's about being selfless and putting others first. But I've also gotten burned during that in the past, because the people I've invested in end up leaving or not being here, things like that, and then that really hurts me. So then I just shut down, and I don't trust anybody. I don't invest in anyone. And so it's all a back and forth. It's all a balance. But I feel like over the course of doing this, I've gotten a lot better at evaluating character, not only who's going to succeed and who's not, but also who I click with and who I don't. Because there's certain personality types that I'm more compatible with than others. So I feel like if it's a person I can truly connect with, I can help them a lot more, and I can really level them up. So that's what I tried to do. And even, you know, the rep that I mentioned today, he didn't get on the board either. But guess what? Neither did I. So, it's alright. but I feel like I did have a positive impact on his day and on his overall mindset. I feel like he's still going to remember that conversation tomorrow and next week and all that. And really, that's what I'm trying to do here is leave a legacy for outreach. I want people to remember me when I leave. There's so many people I've seen just fade into obscurity, you know. Where like while they're there, it's cool, and then they leave and they're like, oh, okay, and then they're just never talked about again. And I'm sure that's part of my ego as well, wanting to be remembered, wanting to be important, whatever. But it's not all in my mind. There is actual tangible proof that I have a profound impact on the whole market. So yeah, that's pretty much the work update. Oh yeah, so things I'm getting rid of. So Kratom, I feel like I already talked enough about that. What else do I want to get rid of? Delta 8 THC. Basically, anything that I get from the smoke shop now, I don't really trust it. Because recently, whenever I've used Delta 8 products, it just feels like chemicals. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like a plant. It feels like man-made, like juice and things that like they're not good and they shouldn't be ingested. So I was gonna say weed in general, but I think like true like Delta 9 plant-based THC is okay. Like from my experiences with that, for the most part, it didn't really I didn't have the same feeling. It felt more like a pure, genuine thing. But yeah, anything I get from the smoke shop, any kind of Delta 8 products or things like that, it's like it's not the same kind of high. Like it's a weird thing, and it just feels like it's not pure, you know. So I wanna quit that, because I don't need that in my life. I feel like this is making me more confused, and having negative effects on my brain and my body that I won't find out about till it's too late. So I just don't want to take that risk, because I really don't need it. I don't need to be high to do things, so yeah. I mean, alcohol, I don't really have a problem with alcohol. I don't like being hungover, but I don't get hungover very often. I don't know. I just feel like that we can probably keep that as is, because I don't really drink a whole lot as is. What else? Yeah, I'm still working on it. What are some things I want to start doing? You know what? I want to go for runs every morning. I want to be one of those people that gets up and runs. I feel like that's a good way to start the day. It's a good thing to do for cardio, and sometimes I have like a regular heartbeat and stuff like that. So I feel like running specifically is good for all that. And I walk quite a bit. I walk like 30,000 steps a day, but running is just a little bit different. So I feel like I should go even for like a 5-minute run in the morning. I want to start doing that. I want to have a regular workout schedule, because recently it's just kind of been whenever. It's been all over the place. So I want to have like a definite, like certain days of the week, certain times that I work out. Another big thing, I want to eat healthier, 100%. Because yeah, what you put into your body is sacred, so really the only reason I haven't is just come down to money for the most part. Just the combo of money and time if you have money or time, you can eat healthy. But if you don't have either, then there's really not much you can do. Because if you have a lot of time, then you can get all the ingredients relatively cheap and just put them together yourself and cook things and make these elaborate recipes, and and then you'll be healthy. Or if you don't have time, as long as you have money, you can get one of those subscription services, where they deliver it to your house. You can get like custom things ordered, you can hire a chef, you can do things like that, and like you'll still be all right. But if you don't have either of those, then you're just left with the drive-through. You're just left with whatever the cheapest, quickest thing is, microwavable dinners, things like that. So that's mostly what I've been eating. And so I feel like with this change in lifestyle, this upgrade, I'll finally have at least one of those, probably money, because I'll probably still, keep busy. But I definitely want to upgrade my nutrition. I want to eat healthier. So eat healthier, go for runs. I want to start reading. I've gotten away from reading for a while, so I want to read things. And you know what? I want to read the Bible. Because, believe it or not, I've never read the Bible cover to cover before. I know quite a bit of it, but I've never, read the full thing. So I want to do that. I want to just sit down and read the Bible from start to finish. I feel like that'll also help me understand a lot of things. Not that I'm some, born-again religious person or something, but I just feel like there's a lot of important stuff there as far as spirituality goes, and understanding the world around me, and understanding, where I fit into things. And not just the Bible, but just sacred texts. I feel like the Bible is a good place to start. But just reading in general, specifically nonfiction. So yeah, I'm gonna read. So any book recommendations you have, you can put in the comment section. But yeah, so this is pretty much my situation right now. What else is going on? So, the relationship that I thought might be getting into, ended up not getting into that. I mean, essentially, I wouldn't even say friends with benefits. It's honestly, it's just the benefits. The only time we see each other is for sex, basically. Which, that's alright. But there's just not really any romance in my life right now, so I would be open to that. But at the same point, I'm not desperate either. So I know she probably wants that, but yeah, I don't really connect with her on that level. But yeah, so I'm still single. What else? Oh, my sister came to visit me this last weekend. Sunday and Monday we went to Disney World, and that was cool. I mean, my sister, she's an interesting person too. She has a lot of depth as well, but she went a different route than I did. I feel like there's an alternate reality where we're a lot more similar. But she went down one path and I went down another. But I feel like we kind of come from the same place, So I try talking to her about some stuff, and she's pretty distracted most of the time. But whenever I can, really reach her, she, we can talk about stuff. But, for the most part, she was here to go to the park, so. But yeah, that was fun. We had fun doing that. I feel like I'm kind of outgrowing Disney again. Really, the only reason I even renewed the pass is just out of like nostalgia and wanting to reconnect with that. And I feel like that already served its purpose. I already had that, and now I'm kind of getting bored by it again. And I'm like, I'd rather Busch Gardens or Six Flags or Universal, something like that rather than Disney. But but yeah, it's still alright. I got another like 4 months left on the pass, so I'll probably still go a few more times. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of bored like going by myself. If you're with people, like it's cool. But yeah. So uh, um, yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, how could I forget the? I would say the biggest thing actually that I want to start doing is music. Like actually make music. Because I was over at my friend's house recently and he has a whole setup in his apartment. He has a laptop with a microphone, he has FL Studio on there, and he like makes music from scratch. And it was really inspirational. We had like a jam session basically, and I recorded some vocals for him. I played bass for the first time, and he kind of showed me a little bit of how it works, and I was just so incredibly inspired. Like ideas were coming to me just out of nowhere. I was able to just like stream of consciousness improv stuff that was like actually pretty good, and yeah, so it just really inspired me. So FL Studio only costs like $100, I think. But when I rearrange my time schedule, I'm going to have to set aside a regimen for that as well for recording. And I was gonna get a studio, but realistically, I can probably just record it here as long as it's not super late at night. Um, but yeah, so I want to get FL Studio. I want to get a microphone. That's another thing you guys could help me out with. If you could leave a comment, what kind of microphone should I get for recording vocals? Because I don't really know like the different brands. But I have a laptop already, so that's good. Um, but yeah, so just let me know what I'll need if there's any other equipment or anything like that. But I want to like actually record music professionally because up until now I've just had my guitar and my amp, and I have like a little microphone that just connects to the amp. But I like want to actually get into like studio production and like actually upload songs to SoundCloud, Spotify, things like that. Like I'm ready to actually take a step in the musical direction. I feel like, first of all, I already have a lot of material written, but also, like, just from what I've seen with improv, I feel like I can make a lot of music in a very short amount of time. So I also feel like that's really good for creativity and for my mind because music is a way of expressing myself, but also, like, it just changes my whole emotion because I can just picture it when I get home and I feel like just getting high or it's getting drunk or like, not doing anything productive. Instead, if I just make music, I probably feel a lot better, you know? So it's an outlet like that. So I feel like that's what I'll probably get really into. But anyway, we're at almost an hour here. I do have a few other things to get to tonight, but yeah, I didn't have any of this planned, by the way. I didn't have any of these topics picked out. I kind of just turned this on and started talking. Um, but yeah, so as tonight, I might do another one tomorrow. We'll see. But in any case, I know it won't be too long. But yeah, overall, just know I'm doing great. And I've had my ups and downs for sure, especially like as I'm reevaluating things. There's been a lot of anxiety, a lot of like uncertainty. Today is really the first day in a while that I felt like lucid. I felt completely in control of my thoughts and things like that, and just kind of remembered the bigger picture and like, hey, it's gonna be okay. You're here for a reason. You are where you are. This is what's meant to happen. You know, this is good things. So, even though I didn't get any more transfers today, but that's all right. I'm getting more tomorrow. But anyway, so yeah, that's my update for now. You know, I invite you to leave comments on the videos, and yeah, take care, everyone. See you next time.